Beaders. Welcome to Beachside Bead Boutique. My name is Jerry. Today we have the Bargain Bead Box mashup because we are going to be creating some beautiful jewelry using two of the Bargain Bead Boxes. So first we have from December, Time Traveler, and from November we have Winterberry Wishes collection and also the companion bundle to Winterberry Wishes. So grab your beads and your coffee and let's get beading. Okay, so from Time Traveler, first we have these are the champagne luster beads. And then we have the English cut faceted crystals. Is that what that is? No, this is the crystal rondelle beads in vintage peach. And then this is the English cut faceted rounds. Okay, and then from Winterberry Wishes collection, I have the frosted crystal round beads in varied lilac. I have purple aventurine frosted beads here. And then these are crystal rondelle beads in amethyst. These are amethyst faceted rounds. And then these are lepidolite heshy disc beads. And then also from Winterberry Wishes, I have bead caps. And again, I'm not sure if this came from the monthly subscription or the companion bundle, but I know they both had bead caps, so whichever one you use is perfectly fine. And then also I will be using some of the chain that came in the Winterberry Wishes monthly subscription. Okay, so I think that's about it. And if I use any other beads from these collections, then I will let you know. But I think these beads pair very well together with this, this champagne neutral color along with these beautiful purples and, the lighter purple. And then we have the deeper amethyst purple and along with this copperish color. So yeah. So I just wanted to mix some of both because like I said, I think it looks really pretty. So first we're going to create a bracelet. And for this bracelet, I'm going to use this stretch cord. So this is 0.8 millimeter. The tools that you're going to need are round nose pliers, bent nose pliers, flush cutters, and I have a one-step looper. And of course, you don't have to use these exact tools. Whatever jewelry making tools that you have will be perfectly fine just to basically open and close jump rings. And then also I have jump rings and I'll be using this bronzish color here. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. So first we're going to make the bracelet and it's 0.8 millimeter stretch cord and I got this from Walmart, but of course you can use any kind of stretch cord you have. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and cut a nice piece and I don't measure anything. I just take a piece that I know is going to be more than what I need because we have to account for stringing the beads and then having enough room to be able to tie our knots. And, we want to have a couple of knots in there. So, but we are going to stretch it. So pre-stretch it. So it is going to stretch out a little bit. Okay, so I cut a piece like this, and I'm going to, like I said, pre-stretch. And you want to pre-stretch because that is going to prevent premature breaking and sagging of your bracelets. If you don't do this, then over time your bracelets will start to sag because the stretch cord wasn't pre-stretched, because it actually stretches out quite a bit when you pre-stretch it. It almost doubles in size. So see, if you didn't do that first, when you put the beads on, then it's going to stretch anyway, and then putting it on and off your wrist, so then it will sag, and then you'll have gaps in, in between your beads. So I suggest you pre-stretch it. Okay, now this bracelet is basically just going to be a random, so I'm just going to use some of all these beads in really no particular order. I mean, that's the style that I usually like to do. But we are going to use a piece of the chain. Where did my chain go? Okay. Oh, and I do have a ruler here also, so we can measure our bracelet. Okay, let me take my chain out and just have that here and ready. Okay, so I also have a bead stopper. So go ahead and put a bead stopper on one of your ends of your cord. And then we're just going to string. I'm going to use some beads, and I'm also going to use some of my bead caps. Now I'm going to take a bead cap. And then if you are having trouble putting your bead on your cord, you could just take the end and just pull it a little bit to give it a little bit more of a stretch to kind of thin it out. Well, come on. I know it goes on there because I've already made one and I used these bead caps. Okay, and then I'm going to use one of these lighter purple. And then I'm going to put another bead cap. Now we'll use something lighter. And then these pearls are not going to fit on this cord, I know, but I might use them to make some charms. I'm going to make a little dangle, so I might use those. I'll go ahead and put on one of these, and then I'll go back to my little vintage peach mix. Put on 2 of these. Actually, let's take this off. Let me add some purple. I'm going to add this very lilac crystal. And I think this is a very pretty color. And then we'll add these vintage peach mix crystals. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and add a bead cap. And then one of these faceted crystal amethyst. And then another bead cap. Yes, very pretty. And then we'll add one of these champagne 10 millimeter. And we'll add a couple of no, I don't think I'm going to add the heshies this time. Let's add one of these faceted, rondelles in amethyst. And then I'll add a couple of the vintage peach. Like I said, no particular order, just random, no pattern. I'm not repeating a pattern. And of course, you could do it how you want to do it. If you like a pattern, then by all means, you could do that. Like I always say, I'm just giving you the inspiration. And let's go with a lighter color. Now we'll go back to the bead cap. And this lighter purple, which is the, I will tell you, purple aventurine frosted bead. And then another bead cap. And then we'll go with the English cut crystal. And then two of the faceted from the peach mix. Okay, so you see how I have mine. Like I said, no particular pattern, and you could do yours like this or do it exactly how you want it. This is just kind of a fun, just kind of a chill, bead with me kind of a video. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put on my chain. No, I'm not putting, am I? Yeah, I'm going to put my chain on a jump ring. So I'm going to, let's see, I'm going to add, or should I just add the chain? Let me see. Let me see if I just add the chain right on here. Now, the chain is not going to be that long. It's just going to be a little accent to our bracelet, and it is going to match with our earrings that we're going to make. So I just figured I would incorporate the chain just to, you know, be a little bit more cohesive with the earrings. Well, okay, yeah, so we'll just add the chain. And then we'll add some beads. Let's see which beads I want to add. I want to add the champagne. I think I want to add a couple of the bigger beads at this section. So we'll add the champagne. I'll add bead cap and the amethyst crystal. And another bead cap. And then we'll add the, no, let's see, we want something round. I'm going to go ahead and add another one of the champagne. Yeah, like that. And then we'll add the bead cap. And then our amethyst crystal again. And then another bead cap. Yeah, so this is the section that the chain is going to cover. or not cover, but drape under. I'm gonna go ahead and use a small jump ring. So I have these bronzish color, and I'm gonna use the small one, and so we can put the chain on. And it is small, if I can see it. Okay, there's the opening. Okay, let me come up here. Now open and close a jump ring. You want to do it like this, so from front to back. I know this jump ring is small, so it is hard to see. Okay, so right here, so I'm going to add my jump ring to my chain. Like that. And then we could go ahead and close this jump ring up. And make sure it is closed all the way. Okay, so now I'm going to take my jump ring and feed my cord through that. Like I said, there is no specific pattern here, so I'm just going to string them and make sure they look okay. Okay, let's see how long this is first before I continue on. Okay, this is good right here. So this is about 7.5 inches, which is good for me. If you need it smaller, then just adjust your beads, you know, to the size that you need. If you need it larger, then obviously you know you need to add more. Okay, so to tie it, we're just taking the cords together. And I'm just going to take the one cord under the other. So just like you're tying your shoe, pull your cord, pull it good. And then I'm going to do that again, but I'm going to do it twice. So I'm going 1 and then 2 like that, and then pulling it. Pull it tight. Don't break your cord. And then 1 more pull, and then 2 more. So 1, 2, pull. And then I like to take my finger and hold the knot down as I pull it with my other hand, and then do the same thing with the other side like that, just to kind of pull the knot down. And then I am going to take some of my glue, the same glue you see me use all the time. Remember what I want for Christmas, some more glue. Some more brush on glue. Okay, let me brush this on just lightly on the knot itself. Well, okay, that's good. That's good with the glue. We don't need to have glue galore. Okay, now I'm going to take my scissors and cut the cord. Make sure you cut close to the knot and don't cut your knot. If we can hide the knot, we're going to hide the knot. I don't know if we can hide the knots. Don't break your cord. All right, let me cut this a little bit more. Okay, well, we're going to leave that like that. So pretty. I love these colors together. I think that looks fabulous. And I like our little chain dangle. But we are going to make a little dangles, of course. Okay, so I am going to take some head pins, and I did forget to tell you guys you will need some head pins or eye pins if you have eye pins. If you don't have head pins, then that's perfectly fine. And the head pins are the ones that are flat on the bottom, and the eye pins are the ones that have the loop at the bottom. Okay, so I'm going to take my head pin and I'm going to take one of my little pearls and stick my pearl on. Maybe I'll stick it the other way just because that looks more like that's the right way. And I'm just going to go ahead and use my one-step looper because I'm going to use my one-step looper for my earrings as well to create loops. So I might as well just be cohesive and use the one-step looper. All right, so I'm going to take my wire on my head pin and just stick it through, and it's going to come out that hole on the other side. And you want to take your bead just up to this point right here. So don't insert the bead inside the one-step looper because when you form your loop, it's going to crush your bead. So just take your bead right close to the edge here, and then you want to go ahead and create your loop and then pull your bead down a little bit. Make sure it doesn't get crushed by your tool. And that's it. So see, the one-step looper already cut the wire for you. And yes, it's not closed all the way, which that's my one thing that I complain about with the one-step looper. But I'm going to take this bead and I'm just going to dangle it from the end of my charm, if I can get it right in here. Okay, so I'm just going to stick my loop that we just created to the end of the chain. So I want to make sure that my loop is closed. So make sure it's flush with the other side. So just like that. So see, we have just one little dainty pearl at the bottom. So we are going to create a couple more charms that we're going to attach at the end of the chain here. So I think probably about 3. So let's take, let's not take the bigger beads. Let's take smaller beads. So I'm going to stick one bead on each of its own head pin. And then I'm just going to do the same thing with my one-step looper. And I'm going to take a jump ring. Now I do want a larger jump ring so that it could dangle good. I mean, you want to make sure that your beads dangle. If your jump ring isn't long enough, then your beads are just going to kind of be stuck in between the beads here. And you could actually go ahead and close your loops. They don't need to be open because we're going to open our jump ring. Just make sure that they are all the way closed. Otherwise, your charms will just come right off your jump ring. Okay, and then just go ahead and attach your little charms to your jump ring. And then you're going to attach your jump ring to your cord, and you just want to, so pull apart your cord right here where the chain ends and the next bead. So you're just going to separate that and then add your jump ring in there right underneath the cord. Like that. Just slide it in there. And then close this up. Make sure it's flush with the other side. And that is. Okay, and that's what we have. I think that looks really cute. I love this little dangle. And I love the pearl at the end of the chain. And I love the addition of the chain just to give it, you know, a little bit of just something extra. Like I like to say, I like to be extra. So it just adds enough extraness, right? Okay, let's try this on. It's cute. Very cute. And I love these beads paired together. I think that looks really nice together. Really pretty. Really pretty, dainty bracelet. Very easy to make. But I also did make another one earlier. So that was my plan, to have a stacked set. So let me show you this one. But you could very well just have this one and be done with it. I think that looks very pretty and will pair very nicely with our earrings. Okay, so here is the first bracelet that I made. Very pretty as well, right? I mean, they pair together very nicely. And this one just doesn't have the chain. And then I did add a couple of beads on this one that I didn't add on the first one, like these little leaf beads, of course. And then a couple other, you know, it's not the same design or anything, but it is the same beads for the most part. So looks very cohesive without, you know, being matchy-matchy. So, which is the way that I like it. So we have this. Very cute, so pretty. I mean, so easy because they're, you know, stretch bracelets, so they're more of a casual feel, but yet at the same time look elegant enough, right? If you wanted to wear it with, you know, a night out and or whatever. I mean, very pretty. I really like them. I think these beads, like I said, pair very nicely together. Okay, so we are going to go ahead and create a pair of earrings. Okay, so hold on just a few minutes. Okay, beaters, so here is one earring that I created. We're going to create the other one together, but I just wanted to show you. So it's pretty much using the same beads that we did in the bracelets. Okay, so I'm going to take, I have some head pins and eye pins in the same color, so I'm going to use both. For my earring, I'm going to use one of these. So this one right here, that's the textured round chandelier link from Winterberry Wishes. Okay, so for the earrings, along with the head pins and the eye pins and the chandelier link, you're also going to need an ear wire. And this was from Hobby Lobby, I believe. And of course, I will link everything in my description box. So I'm going to take one of my pearls and stick it on my eye pin, just like that. And then I'm going to take my one-step looper and just create my loop like we did with the other ones. Be careful not to crush your bead. Okay, and now we're gonna make the one to go underneath that. So let's use this faceted crystal. And we're just gonna continue to do the same thing. And of course, you don't have to make your earrings as long as I'm making them. You can put just a couple of the beads and then stop. You know, make it your length, how you like it. Okay, now we'll just go ahead and create these loops. This one was supposed to be on a head pin. I forgot. I'm putting this one on a head pin because this is going to be, make sure it doesn't go through. This is going to be the last one on the row, so I don't need a loop at the bottom of this one because I'm not attaching anything to it. Okay, so I'm going to start with my pearl, and I'm going to take it where the end is open, the loop that we created. And then I'm going to attach my next one in the row. Like that. Go ahead and actually, yeah, go ahead and close your loop. Okay, and then close this loop. Okay, so I'm going to attach the loop of the English cut crystal, the loop that we made, and I'm attaching that to the amethyst faceted. And you can close that. There. Okay, I say one of these times to close it. That closed it. So this is what we have so far. So yeah, we're just attaching each loop that we created to the loops of the other beads, just to make like a chain type effect. Okay, so here is our little chain link, so to speak. We're going to go ahead and add this to our connector right here. Let's see, did I use a jump ring at the top? Yes, I did. No, I didn't. No. Okay, I'm just attaching the loop here to the actual connector. So I'm not using a jump ring, so we're just going to take our pliers and then right on the loop where it opens and just bend that up slightly. And then we can go ahead and attach that to our link. And then make sure you close it. Okay, so we have that. And now we're just going to continue and do the same thing with each of the beads here. So remember, for these, I'm going to go ahead and use eye pins. The last one we'll use the head pin. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then I will be back. Okay, so now I'm just going to take some of my chain, a couple links, and you don't want them very long. I'm not measuring them, so I'm just going to take a couple of links and attach them to the bottom of my last row here, the one that we just created. And I'm just going to have my chain in various lengths. We have something cut here. Let me see. No. No. And I'm just going to attach these to the bottom of this last little charm that we put on here. So that's why I left this one as a loop at the bottom. Let's see, open this up slightly so we could get in there. I'm going to attach my chain in no particular order. Just like that, and now we can close this up. Okay. So this is what we have. It looks cute. And I think I might put maybe a couple little dangles off this one. I don't have it on this one, but like I said, it's not going to be the exact same. Grab a couple of these. And I'm going to use head pins for this. I'm just going to use the same beads here and create just little dangles, well, little charms to dangle off just one of the chains. Because why not? Okay, now I'm just going to take some of my chain, and I'm just going to attach chain to these two loops in the middle here. I might just dangle something at the bottom, just like I did with this one. See, I added just this at the bottom of this one, and then this little charm at the bottom of this one. So, just so, because I don't want to add beads in here, because then I think it would be just too much, and they would clash with these, and so yeah, so I just put 2 solid chains on these loops here. So we're going to go ahead and do that. So again, cutting my chain to no particular length. And I'm going to take 2 of my jump rings, and I'm going to take the smallest ones here. I'm going to take my jump ring and attach it to my chain. And then I'm going to take the jump ring and attach it to this link here, this loop where we don't have anything dangling. So we're going to take that and connect the jump ring to that loop and then close the loop really well. Oops, that is not closed. So just like that. And then we're going to go ahead and attach one more to this side. Let's see, where's my chain here? I don't need the chain this long, that's for sure. Okay, so this is what we have, and so let's go ahead and cut this chain a little bit more. And you could cut it, have it to your length, of course, the length you want it. Yes. Now let's go ahead and dangle a little something from our empty chains here. Okay, beaders, so here's the earring that we created. So these 3 rows here, we have the bead links that we made and then just attached each link to the bottom of each loop here to create that chain link look. And then these 2 in the middle are just the plain chains with just a little dangle at the end. And again, it doesn't matter which bead you use, it's random. It doesn't even match this one exactly, so that's how I did it. You could match them if you want to, but I like it this way. Now all we have to do is just attach our ear wire. So I'm not using a jump ring. I'm just going to attach this to the top of the earring right here. So I'm just going to bend this up a little bit like that, and then attach this on here. Make sure it's facing the correct way, so when it's in your ear that this design is facing forward. And then go ahead and close your loop. So just make sure it's flush to the other side. And then straighten that out if you need to. Okay, so here is our earring. It is super cute. Yes, very cute. Like I said, they don't match exactly, but you can tell, you know, they're from the same family, right? I like it like this. Very cute. Very boho. Asymmetrical. Okay, beaders, well, here is our asymmetrical boho earrings, and I think they are very, very pretty. So cute, so nice. Very pretty with the beads from both Bargain Bead Boxes, the Time Traveler, and also Winterberry Wishes. The beads look beautiful together, and I really, really like this, and I like the fact that it's random, but also put together. And then the same with our bracelets. So we have the bracelet here that we created together with our little bead dangle with our chain that makes it cohesive with the earrings, and then also the bracelet that I made with the same beads. So again, random but still cohesive, right? I really, really like them. Will you guys let me know what you think? And please remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe to my channel. I hope you all have a wonderful day and a wonderful week, and I will see you guys in the next one. Thank you. Bye-bye.